Hey there guys, this is Goshen, and on this video I'm gonna be showing you my arcane damage skill build for wizards. Um, I was getting kind of sick and tired of my frost damage arcane orb build, so I just tried to switch it around, and I got to this build which I really like, and it's been pretty effective for me. On Torment 1 I can clear Nephilim Rifts pretty quickly. So let's go to the build. And I also don't really have a lot of arcane damage. I think I just have like disintegrate damage 10% there and 14% arcane damage, and not really that much, so that's black hole damage. I could change that, but anyway, you're not gonna need like super specific equips to make this work, but I'm sure that if you have a lot of arcane damage items and disintegrate damage items, this is gonna be just really better. So as my primary skill and the skill that I use to regen arcane power, I was using Shock Pulse with Power Affinity, which is great, but I tried out Spectral Blades, and well, this does 194% damage. It does regen arcane power a little bit more, but because I have APOC on my source, I like Throne Blades better. It deals 40% more more damage, and I just like the animation more, and it's more reliable than Shock Pulse in some cases. But I guess if you don't have APOC, you can use Power Affinity on Shock Pulse, and you'll be fine. Then like, I also like Spectral Damage because this is kind of like our melee damage dealer, and then Disintegrate will be a long range AoE damage dealer. So we're going to be using Disintegrate with Chaos Nexus. This is just so we can hit more than one target at once. Maybe Entropy could also be good if you're going for more of a melee style, but I like Chaos Nexus because just that range is just incredible. So then it's the standard stuff: magic weapon with force weapon, familiar spark flinked. I have Archon. This is mainly to deal with like double elite packs or stuff like that, and like the Nephilim Rift Guardian 2. You can use Archon to really burst him down really fast, as I'm gonna be demonstrating next. But if you don't want Archon, another great alternative is Black Hole with Spell Steal. What this will do is that all the enemies, it's kind of like comboing Arcane Orb with Frost damage with Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero gives you 3% more cold damage versus the for each enemy hit with the Black Hole. Spell Steal kind of does the same, but does it even better. So enemies hit by Black Hole deal 10% reduced damage for 5 seconds. This helps a lot with elites, for example. It's 10% less damage, which is great. And each enemy hit with Black Hole grants you 3% increased damage for 5 seconds. So in here you have for 10 seconds, in here just for 5 seconds, but with Absolute Zero, it's just for your cold spells, which if you're like using cold damage, it's great. Spell Steal, it's actually just your damage just increases. Like your damage here, it just increases. with black hole spell steal, which is great. I've managed to get like 20%, something like I've almost hit like 2 million DPS, and it's really awesome if you're like if you have a lot of mobs and with an elite pack, you're just gonna melt them away just super quickly. And if you have percent damage against elites, then it's just gonna melt even faster. But I'm currently using Arcane with improved Arcane. It's mainly for the Nephilim Rift Guardian, but you can use either thing. I'm using Storm Armor, Reactive Armor, just because I don't need Energy Armor to survive, and Reactive Armor is really good. That rune on Storm Armor is really good. So then on our passive skills, we're going to be using Audacity, which is going to make basically every single enemy that gets hit by our Spectral Blades is going to take another additional 15% additional damage. So it's 5 yards less, but I mean, it's still going to do a lot of damage, and it also increases the damage of Disintegrate when you're like with elite packs that can really follow you around really quickly. We have Prodigy to get to so we can regen our arcane power faster. We have Temporal Flux because it's great. It's a great slow and it helps out a lot. It's even great for group play. Like, I mean, if you're doing solo, maybe you want Glass Cannon or something else. But Temporal Flux is really great solo, and it's also great for a party, because if you're in a group play, then you're gonna be giving your whole party a lot of utility. Then I have Dominance for extra survivability. So I've prepared the Rift. I've done it. There's just the Rift Guardian. So let's see how it goes with Archon. It's just to give you guys an idea of how Archon can really be good on those spaces. But I mean, if we had more mobs around it, because I cleared the area around a little bit. So, but anyway, let's just go. So we're going to be doing two things. We're going to be doing, alright, so it should be around here. Right, so you see that's the kind of damage that we deal him normally. And then if we put Archon on, we can melt him a little bit faster. And I'm not even moving around. Alright, he disappeared. Where is him? Right, our Archon just went away, but it is fine in the end. You can just finish him like that. And as you see, it's really quickly. It was really quick. I mean, I don't even have any plus damage against elites. Nothing really fancy here. I just have critted damage, defense. I have plus armor, and I have got area damage. I guess this is kind of important because it allows your disintegrate and your spectral blades to do a lot more damage. It's like 40% area damage is really great. When you have like, I have close to 1 million, so that's how much area damage. 39%, so it's like 300, around 300 and something plus DPS that I do when there's like a lot of mobs. So let's just continue a little bit to demo this build. I mean, you're not gonna have trouble like if you have a lot of DPS. Like, okay, so you see those guys, they just melt away really quickly. And maybe it's because of the APOC that I have on my source, but I usually don't really have a lot of arcane power issues. Um, if I do, I just attack with my spectral blades and it's fine. See, like those packs of mobs is one of the examples where the percent area damage really pays off, because you're dealing damage to a lot of them in a straight line, and then there's the other beam that's hitting for 150% weapon damage. And if you have all that area damage, it's gonna build up really fast, and you're just gonna deal huge amounts of damage to groups like that. So I guess that's I guess I've finished demonstrating the build. I think it's really good. I can do just a lot of more damage than and I can do rift so much faster than I used to be with the frost damage build. And as soon as I can get some more frost damage on my items and more disintegrate damage on my items, um, I think I'm gonna be able to do it even faster. I mean, you don't even need Archon. Like, all you need is disintegrate and spectral blades. God damn it, that's really hard to say, man. Anyway, that's really just what you need. Like, if you're in higher torment levels, I think that this is still pretty viable. I mean, temporal flux is really great to slow your enemies and let you dodge a lot of the attacks, and dominance really awesome. You can even change Archon for something like, I don't know, if you want diamond skin or maybe like slow time. Slow time, I think, maybe like this: slow time with time wrap. Enemies caught in the bubble ward take 10% more damage. I mean, this for group play could be also really good. And because it's arcane, they're also gonna be slowed. I mean, they're gonna be slowed by slow time. So you can do a lot of things. I think this build is really dynamic, because all you can have, like, you have 1, 2, 3, you have 6 skills, but only 5 are really kind of mandatory, and like magic weapon and familiar are really standard. You in here you're gonna always use energy armor or storm armor or even ice armor. I don't know, whatever you'd like. In higher torment levels, energy armor with this, instead of dealing 35% of your maximum life, it only deals 35%. I think this could be also really helpful, but I mean, if I activate that, I'm gonna be having 5.8 billion toughness, which is kind of ridiculous for Torment 1. I don't really need that much with dominance, so that's why I use Storm Armor with Reactive Armor. Anyway, on the passive skills, you also have a lot of flexibility. I mean, if you have a Helm with APOC, you don't need Prodigy at all. You can trade it for Conflagration, because Sparkflint is gonna be putting the debuff. I mean, look, you can see Sparkflint is attacking when I'm using Disintegrate, so that also gives me even more crit hit chance, and it'll even buff your damage. You have a lot of flexibility. On the passive skills, the only things that I really kind of recommend is Audacity if you're using the Spectral Blades, and Temporal Flux, because the 80% slow is really good. Other than that, if you find yourself in group play and you don't really walk a lot, but I mean, you're gonna be killing the enemies pretty fast, so that's why I don't use a Neighboring Will. I don't find myself sitting on the same place for more than 1.5 seconds, but if you are, you can use that. it's a really and glass cannon, whatever you want to use. You could even use Astral Presence if you were having arcane power issues with this build. So maybe that'll be really great for you. I mean, look for how much time I can do that. It's a long disintegrate. So anyways, that's my disintegrate arcane damage build. I hope you guys like it. Let me just change it to the way I had it before. I'm gonna include a link in the video description for the Blizzard skill page calculator thing. Anyway, I'm gonna put a link to that thing, and see you guys on the next video. Bye.